Chapter 421 Maybe, maybe not. Professionals. Hee, maybe we are lucky, maybe we can find the person we want around here. Shajirching looked at the island in front of her, and her eyes were full of anticipation. Oh, are you saying that there is someone we want on the island ahead? What a smart man Tezzolo. After hearing this, he immediately asked. I'm not sure if there is one, it depends on our luck. With luck, the man may still be there. Bad luck, maybe he hasn't shown up yet. Of course, if that person is there, he will inevitably have to offend a big person again. It will give people a bit of a headache. A ghostly face appeared in Shajirching's mind, and the corner of his mouth couldn't help but smile. Go and try your luck. After making up his mind, the ship headed for the island ahead. And in the center of the island. Master, find the enemy outside the island, kill it. In a room full of various experimental equipment, a rather ordinary-looking man asked the man in front of him, who was floating in the air, dressed in a weird costume, and made a noise from time to time. Well, go ahead, don't let him affect my experiments. Hearing this, the man agreed with this idea without even thinking about it. Yes, Master, never let him disturb your experiments. After getting this man's order, the man who invited him quickly withdrew. This kind of island has such beautiful buildings, but why is there no one living there? Tezzolo followed behind Shajirching and asked suspiciously. Perhaps dead, maybe, somewhere else. Hearing this, Shajirching said with some emotion. Then, his eyes suddenly sharpened, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. It seems there are a few interesting things coming, you or I. Shajirching glanced at a certain direction in front of him and said. Come together, play alone, isn't that too boring? Tezzolo also showed a very playful smile when he heard the words. In his observation hockey, there were a few interesting little guys. Then let's come together. Shajirching was not surprised by Tezzolo's answer, then pretended that nothing happened, and continued going. And in a corner in front of them. Release the experimental beasts, never let them get close to the master's space. A rather large middle-aged man with a large knife looked at Shajirching and the two who were approaching from afar, and ordered. Yes. A group of people responded softly behind him, all holding something like a controller in their hands. Put. After Shajirching and the two entered the attack range, the tall middle-aged man immediately gave an attack order. The people behind him suddenly pressed the controller in their hands. Roar. On the ground that I saw, big black holes appeared all at once, and then, all kinds of strange monsters rushed out fiercely and attacked Shajirching and the two of them. Hey! In the face of this attack, both of them stepped back. Seeing these things, do you have any ideas? Shajirching stood on a certain eaves, looking at the giant beast rushing over and asked. Chapter 422 Don't be ignorant. As soon as you fell asleep, someone gave you a pillow. My lord, you are really clever, and your luck is overwhelming. Tezzolo looked at the giant beasts that were rushing towards them, their hideous faces, sharp fangs, and their strange body shape, and their eyes flickered again and again. Looks like we're lucky. Shajirching stretched out his hand and raised it, the lightning flashed, and said without any emotion, 1,000 birds flow. Ziz. In an instant, Shajirching seemed to have transformed into the god of thunder, and a terrifying thunderbolt erupted all over the body, wreaking havoc in the arena. Roar. This thunder and lightning was so terrifying, all the beasts that were contaminated immediately lost their combat effectiveness, screaming and wailing endlessly. In an instant, he lost his fighting power. If that's the case, then I can't show weakness. Seeing Shajirching showing his mighty power like this, Tezzolo also raised his hand with Vivi, and a wave of going water spewed out from his body, and it also raged. Incarceration. After the going water flowed through the body of the giant beast, it instantly turned into an extremely solid, entangling the giant beast. Then, submerged by going, turned into a shining sculpture. These giant beasts went from being on the stage to failing completely, but even if it was a dozen seconds. Yes, it's that short. The strength is too weak, but the idea is okay. Tezzolo landed and commented with great interest. A friend hiding in the dark, haven't you come out yet? After Shajurching landed, she looked towards the hiding place of the tall man and said calmly. I managed to solve the experimental beast without any difficulty at all. The strength of these two people is very strong, they both cheered me up, we have hit a hard bone. When the tall man saw Shajurching looking directly at them, he couldn't help feeling troubled, and he quickly asked out. Understood. There is no need for this tall man to say this, they all understand the truth. Your Excellency, this is not a place where you can come casually, go back now, otherwise, don't blame us for being rude. The tall man appeared not far in front of Shajurching and the two of them, extremely vigilant, and said in a very strong tone. He, if you want me to leave, you are not qualified. Who knows, Shajurching laughed when he heard the words of this tall man, and did not mean to do what the tall man said at all. Little devil, don't kill yourself without knowing what to do. Hearing Shajurching's words, this tall man's eyes suddenly became dangerous. Seeking your own way, just because you have a 78 million Bailey bounty, Gillis. Shajurching cast a very contemptuous glance at the tall man, namely Gieris, and said contemptuously. Who the hell are you, how do you know who I am? Hearing Shajurching directly revealing his identity, Jalistan immediately pulled out his waist spear as if stepping on his tail. My name, you don't need to know it. Go and call out your master, I want to see him. Shajurching is still the same, she said without salt or blandness. In Shajurching's current status, it is difficult for a person with a bounty of less than 100 million to treat him squarely. Asshole, don't ignore me, who the hell are you? Seeing Shajurching ignoring him again, Gialis was furious. Oh, you still want to see our master, you are really over your head, who are you, can you see our master when you meet me? Someone behind Gieris screamed in disdain. Chapter 423 Kaiser Current. Then there's no other way, it seems that the only way is to use strength, Tezzolo, it's up to you. Seeing this, Shajurching shook his head with a headache and said. If you do this early, it will be over, why bother talking to these minions and lowering the price? Hearing Shajurching's words, Tezzolo smiled and looked at Shajurching narrowly, saying. Going splash. He waved his hand, and a wave of going roared and slammed towards Gieris and the others, covering the sky and making it extremely terrifying. Damn, don't be proud of me, the labor and capital are the bloody executioner Gillis, watch me teach you how to be human. In the face of this rushing wave of going, Jalis roared and rushed to fight. But, bang! As soon as they touched each other, Jalis was shocked back out, not an opponent at all. This made the subordinates of Jalisi can't help but be shocked, and then, if they dared to fight, they ran away. Run, are you absolutely possible? A hint of playfulness flashed in Tezzolo's eyes, like a conductor, when he moved his hands, the going splash accelerated, and then, in the terrified faces of these people, they were covered in. Bang! Gillis tried to stop the spray, but it only felt as if he had hit the iron lump, and the heavy reverse force knocked him back again. Together. Tezzolo raised his left hand, and the going splash suddenly turned a corner again. When Gialis didn't respond at all, he hit him in the back with a heavy blow, sending him a big blood spurt. Then, he was imprisoned, and then turned into a sculpture with only his face exposed. Let's go. Shajurching cast a glance at the people who turned into sculptures, and then continued going. In that room. Hey, I didn't expect to lose so quickly. This descendant is quite powerful. Who is it? Let me see. The man with mist all over his body looked at the area in front of him that suddenly lit up with red light, and couldn't help being a little surprised, and then he turned on the surveillance phone bug. Then, after seeing the uninvited guest, his pupils shrank instantly. Gollum. The man's originally normal face suddenly became flustered, and there was cold sweat on his forehead. How could such a big man suddenly come to me? This man couldn't help swallowing, and his voice trembled. And when the man was panicked, in the surveillance screen, Shajur-Ching seemed to have discovered the phone bug, grinned and showed white teeth, and said, "Yo, Caesar Curran, first meeting." Bang! This man, the Caesar Kerrang in Shajur-Ching's mouth, was so frightened that he fell to the ground, his pupils shrank. The Thunder Hunter Y will come suddenly. Caesar Curran looked at the picture, only to feel that the whole person had no strength. He didn't know why Shajur-Ching suddenly came, and he thought to himself, did I offend him? But no matter what you think, you should have no grudges with Shajur-Ching. Never mind, well, when he arrives see what he says. You. No, but behind me Kaido, forgive him, he doesn't dare to do anything to himself. After holding such a mentality, Caesar Curran suddenly gained more confidence in his heart, and his body also had strength, and stood up from the ground. But looking at his trembling body, he knew that he was still in shock. Chapter 424 Hard Choice. In less than 10 minutes, Caesar Curran heard a tremor that rumbled the entire experimental base, so frightened that he fell to the ground again, and a lot of cold sweat broke out on his head. After all is there, let's see how he says. Caesar Curran is a person who bullies the soft and fears the hard. When encountering a terrifying existence like Shajur-Ching, don't be afraid, it's fake. The shadow of the famous tree of people, the fierceness of Shajur-Ching today, everyone knows. Definitely not an existence that a scientist like him can fight against. He wiped the cold sweat on his forehead and beat himself up for a long time before he mustered up the courage to go out to see Shajur-Ching. When Caesar Curran appeared in front of Shajur-Ching, the two of them were surrounded by a group of people. Combat, that's called a trigger. This scared Caesar Curran into a cold sweat again. Quickly disperse these guards. Just kidding, if it makes this guy unhappy, he will be finished. Lord Thunder Hunter, I don't know, coming here any advice? Caesar Curran's attitude was very low and asked aloud, for fear of angering Shajur-Ching and bringing unwarranted disaster to himself. And the guards around, listening to Caesar Curran's words, can't help but be shocked, and then they know how dangerous their actions just now are. For no reason, they couldn't help but rub their necks with a look of excessive panic, secretly glad that they didn't act rashly. I need a scientist, I think you're a good fit, come with me. Shajur-Ching was also completely nonchalant and went straight to the topic. This. Shajur-Ching said it easily, but this made Caesar Curran answer. If you promise Shajur-Ching, you will offend Kaido. Do not agree to Shajur-Ching, leave a message to offend Shajur-Ching. But these two people, he can't afford to offend either. Moreover, Shajur-Ching is still in front of him. If you don't tell Shajur-Ching today, he may be planted here. Don't worry, if you are worried about Kaido's revenge, I can tell you responsibly, no. Kaido will not offend me for you, Caesar Curran. Shajur-Ching looked at Caesar Curran's uglier expression than crying, and assured him. But, in case. Of course, Caesar Curran is not someone who just says something new, but he was interrupted by Shajur-Ching before he finished speaking. Why, do you look down on me? Hearing Shajur-Ching's words, Caesar Curran's head is big. How dare he look down on Shajur-Ching? What a joke. If possible, he would like to look down on Shajur-Ching. But he doesn't have the patience. I'll give you 3 minutes to think about it. After 3 minutes, I need your answer. Think clearly. Kaido is far away, and I'm in front of you. You should know which is more important. Shajur-Ching said with a smile on his face. But seeing Shajur-Ching's appearance, Caesar Curran couldn't help shivering again. He would not absolutely. Shajur-Ching's smile was kind. Gollum. The scene suddenly quieted down. The old god Shajur-Ching stood with his chest in his arms, and Caesar Curran's face kept flashing all kinds of struggles, pain, fear, confusion, and so on. Obviously, it takes a certain amount of confidence to let him make this decision. After all, neither this person nor Kaido are easy to mess with. It would be difficult to choose any one of them to follow. Chapter 425 Dig a Wall. Time, a minute and a second passed. Caesar Current's face was completely occupied by cold sweat. Such a choice is really difficult. Offending any party is not something he can afford. But now, he has to make a decision. Otherwise, he would not be able to be kind at all today. Can you really promise I won't be hunted down by Kaido? As long as you can guarantee this, I'll promise you. In the end, after the 3 minutes expired, Caesar Curon looked at Shajur-Ching with a sullen face, and said very seriously. Of course, I, the Thunder Hunter, have nothing to say. If I fail to protect you and let you be attacked by Kaido, you can leave immediately, and I will never ask you to take responsibility. Shajur-Ching patted her chest and assured. Okay, that's what you said. You won't be able to turn your face and not recognize anyone. Hearing Shajur-Ching's assurance, Caesar Current's eyes lit up immediately, saying, of course, if you don't believe it, you can record it with the recording phone bug and keep it as evidence. Shajur-Ching listened to Caesar Kalang and continued to promise. Don't tell me, I'll do it too. The meaning of Caesar Curon's words is that he has recorded what Shajur-Ching just said. Yes, after all, this is related to his life and wealth. Caesar Current has a few more hearts, and it is normal. Then please, my great scientist, bring what you should bring and set off with me. Shajur-Ching looked at Caesar Curon, whose expression was uglier than crying, with a warm smile. If possible, Caesar Current really wants to beat the Emperor Shao like this. But unfortunately, he can't do it. So, he began to pack his luggage with anxiety and prepare to leave with Shajur-Ching, set foot on Shajur-Ching's pirate ship, and embark on a road of no return. Caesar Current did not know that his choice would make him so proud later. At that time, he was already a famous scientist in the sea, a scientist who made outstanding contributions to the people's treatment technology, and was respected by everyone in the sea. At that time, although he went through hardships, fortunately, in the end, he got eternal light. Of course, this is a story later, let's not mention it for the time being. The current Caesar Current is just a little daughter-in-law, who can no longer work hard. The one who gets angry at both ends. This clean-up, from the rising sun to the setting sun, Shajur-Ching and Tezolo have both finished visiting the entire island, and they have not finished cleaning up. There is no way, there are too many things that Caesar Current wants to take away. As a last resort, Shajur-Ching could only ask Enel and the others to drive a few ships over to help Caesar Current transport. It took 2 full days to help Caesar Current get everything done. I have to say that I am a scientist, there are so many things. But I can't lose it, it's all ready-made data. Shajur-Ching was lying on the deck looking tired and paralyzed, while Caesar Curon sat not far behind Shajur-Ching with a face full of resentment, still with a strong struggle on his face. The people who surrendered with Caesar Curon and his subordinates, although Shajur-Ching looked down on him, but in order to make Caesar Current less grievous, it was a good decision to let these people be his company. I wonder what Kaido's reaction was when he found out about it. Shajur-Ching had an expression of fear that the world would not be in chaos, thinking like this. Chapter 426 Golden Lion Farewell. Kaido's reaction was, but what he didn't know was that in the dark during his voyage, a group of killers from the world government had been staring at him for 3 days. During this period, some people couldn't help but want to kill, but this idea will always be stopped by the leader among the killers. His reason is that it is not yet time. If he is not injured, we will rashly take action, and we will only be wiped out. This guy's vigilance is too high. Once it is exposed, with our strength, it will not be his opponent. When the mission is ruined, you should understand what the consequences will be. This sentence was said by the leader of the killers. Interesting, stalking. Is it someone from the world government? What kind of person Shajur-Ching is? These people have followed him for so long, and naturally he will find some traces of them. However, Shajur-Ching thought the same as these people. Since these people didn't do it first, he naturally didn't plan to do it first. No wind belt. Hey, is this the Nine-Snake Island? It seems that something very interesting will happen. Caesar Curon looked at the Nine-Snake Island in front of him, and there was a strong coveted look in his eyes. The smile on his face is really scary and makes people shiver. Bang! But he had just come up with this idea, and his head immediately ate a chestnut. Caesar Curon, I asked you to come here for research, dare to covet, be careful of your life. When the time comes, the people from Nine-Snake Island will be caught and castrated and sacrificed to heaven. If that time comes, I won't save you. Shajurching looked at Caesar Curon indifferently, and said words that made him feel cold in his legs. There are enemies. At this moment, Enel suddenly shouted in a deep voice, and then, his eyes turned to the sky. But they saw a huge island covering dozens of kilometers nearby, appeared above them, and continued to land. Hey, do you want to come again? Seeing this island, Shajurching suddenly had a bad feeling. Looking at the world, there is only the legendary person who has this ability. Isn't it right? Can't you fight that person again on this sea? Seeing this island with the supreme oppressive power, Enel couldn't help but feel a chill all over his body. Jia ha ha ha, Thunder Hunter brat, we meet again. Just when Shajurching and the others had bad ideas, there was a stern laughter from above them. The Golden Lion in uniform appeared above them. Senior Golden Lion, you want to? If possible, Shajurching doesn't want to fight Golden Lion again. Don't worry, you kid, I'm not here to fight you this time. I'm not that narrow-minded yet. Seeing Shajurching and the others were full of vigilance, the Golden Lion still didn't know what they were thinking. I'm here to say goodbye to you this time. Jia ha ha ha, it's time for me to implement my series of ideas. Little devil, the green hills will not change, the green water will flow, come and play with me when you have time. NLT, PNGT. After all, Golden Lion took out a piece of life paper and threw it to Shajurching like a hidden weapon. Jia ha ha ha, goodbye. After doing this, the Golden Lion took off again. Then, the entire island also lifted off and slowly disappeared under the gaze of Shajurching and the others. Chapter 427. This thing depends on fate. Little devil, let me see how you can stir this ocean. The Legend of Roger, can you recreate it again? Above them, the hearty laughter of Golden Lion was still heard. Are you stirring the sea? He, let's wait and see. To be honest, I don't have a clue in my heart right now. Hearing these words, Shajurching thought in his heart. But Caesar Current on the side has suddenly become a lot more honest. If you look closely, you will find that the unease in his eyes is actually much less. Naturally, Shajurching didn't pay attention to all this, but Enel noticed it and showed an expression that counts you as wise. Passing through Nine-Snake Island, it is impossible not to see Hancock. In addition, Shajurching also misses Hancock very much. There is a saying that Shelby wins the newly married, both of them have a deep feeling of longing, and when they meet, it is really out of control. And then together. Anna has been pregnant for 2 months, how come the concubine's belly hasn't reacted at all? Hancock leaned on Shajurching's shoulder and said sadly. Anna's pregnancy made her feel a strong sense of crisis. In fact, she is not the only one who thinks this way, but her mother-in-law often urges her to have a child quickly and stabilize her position. But she couldn't get pregnant, which made her more and more anxious. This kind of thing really depends on fate, you can't be in a hurry. Shajurching couldn't help laughing bitterly and comfortingly said, Don't worry, this time I will stay with you for a few more days, maybe it will blossom and bear fruit. Shajurching rubbed her earlobe and whispered softly. Hem. Shajurching's words made Hancock's ears instantly red, and when she thought of what to do next, she felt even more shameless. Because it's embarrassing. Shajurching didn't notice Hancock's change, and he said in his heart, even though there is no problem with both of them, why is there no fruit? Shajurching also felt strange that Hancock was not pregnant. He and Hancock have both checked, and there is no problem at all, But, compared to Anna's one-shot hit, Hancock's stomach, it's really strange, a dozen times of sowing, but none of them bear fruit. It is impossible for Shajur-Ching not to be depressed. After all, this one is going to become the king of Nine Snake Island in the future. The premise is girls. If it's a boy, move it to Mocktown to raise it. I hope I can hit it this time. Shajur-Ching sighed and rubbed his old waist with some headache, saying, "Sewing is very demanding." Caesar Current, Shajur-Ching handed it over to Gills. From then on, the Scientific Research Department, which has always been the only one who taught others to jeers, finally welcomed someone who could argue with jeers. Not to mention, although Caesar Current has a cowardly personality, his academic skills, even Gilzer, has to admit that he is stronger than himself. Naturally, Gills, who was once alone, had finally made new progress after taking the help of Caesar Curran, the biological medicine that had been put on hold for a while. If this biological agent is successfully developed, it can greatly enhance cell activity and immunity, improve the success rate of surgery, and speed up the recovery from injuries. Of course, Shajur-Ching didn't let him stop Caesar Curran's artificial devil fruit project. He could keep researching, but it had to be a more complete product than the one given to Kaido. This made Caesar Curran, who once thought that he could no longer continue to study artificial devil fruits, was moved and didn't want it. Chapter 428 Kaido personally dispatched. What? I spent more than 1 billion yuan a month, I really can't do research without money. Looking at the account sheet made by Nico Robin, Shajur-Ching couldn't help sighing in pain. Hee, I believe you will definitely not take this amount of money into your eyes. As long as the drug is developed, the cost will be recovered in 1 or 2 years. This is a very beneficial thing for the people of the world. Seeing Shajur-Ching's stingy appearance, Nico Robin couldn't help show, the air of laughter seemed to be sweetened. Cha Muyang, oh, after all, it's the small money that flows away like running water. How can I not feel heartache? What? Caesar Current is missing. Onishima, Kaido, who was already drunk, suddenly woke up after hearing the news, and was extremely frightened. Yes, he completely disappeared in Punk Hazard Duh, with all the equipment emptied. According to reliable sources, he was recruited by the Summer Chamber of Commerce and was personally dispatched by the Thunder Hunter. Facing the angry Kaido, his subordinates were trembling. For fear that I will be clicked by the angry Kaido accidentally. Little devil, it's so deceiving, do you think that bastard who defeated Golden Lion Shiki can be arrogant in front of me? Kaido roared violently into the sky, the sound was so loud that the air in all directions exploded, and the surrounding waves rolled and swayed. Come on, Jin, this kid won't give me an answer, just meet my super anger. Kaido got up and greeted the 3 calamities behind him, the flames, and set out to ask for an explanation. It's no use, Whitebeard will send troops to stop us. Hearing Kaido's words, Yan Zhejian said this indifferently, and had no intention of going to trouble Shajur-Ching at all. What about Whitebeard? This old guy is old now, and he still has some strength, but he can't deter me. Let's go, this time, I won't let the Thunder Hunter know how good I am, so I won't be called Kaido. Do you really think I can ride on the old man's head with a few brushes? But after listening to Jin's words, Kaido didn't even want to dispel the idea of his own actions, so he turned into a Jackie Chan and flew into the sky. Take Jack and his men, and let's go. Looking at Kaido rushing out, Yan Zhejian couldn't help sighing. Kaido wanted to ask Shajur-Ching to explain, although he didn't agree, he had to follow his captain's idea. Even this idea may not be correct. Yes. Hearing what Jin said, someone immediately informed him to leave, and Jin also boarded the ship in the port outside Ghost Island and left for the first half of the route to the greatness. Kaido immediately attracted the attention of the entire sea. The entire sea suddenly became turbulent. Kaido personally dispatched, what happened? Hey, should we start a war? There are many pirates who thought so in a panic. Kaido, the emperor of the New World, There is basically nothing that he needs to dispatch in person, but now that he is dispatched in person, it must be another wild wind and rain, which has to make people panic. Marine Headquarters. Kaido, what the hell are you trying to do? Sengoku immediately knew the news of Kaido's movement, and felt a huge pressure all at once. Maybe it's a matter of changing the world's situation, he can't be careful. Chapter 429, The Murder of Marshal Marine. It's you again, Thunder Hunter, Kaido's sudden madness, it's you. Sengoku thought of Shajirching for the first time. A few days ago, he got the news that someone saw Shajirching appear in the New World, and his number one thug, Enel, also dispatched, and went with 2 ships. What the hell have you done? No, I have to get rid of you. I can't let you do anything reckless. If I let you continue, the sea will be disturbed by you and it will not be peaceful. Sengoku finally made up his mind at this moment, to get rid of Shajirching. Don't blame him for his delusional persecution of Shajirching, it's because most of the big things in the ocean are caused by Shajirching. This time, the United World Government, even the pirates, must get rid of you. I can't let a dangerous person like you continue to exist in this world. Sengoku said with a strong murderous intent in his eyes. Kuzan, don't stop Kaido, let Kaido go. Just let us see who his target is. Sengoku faced a blue phone bug on the table, and ordered firmly and with some struggle. Marshal, so isn't it afraid to make the world completely chaotic? On the other side of the phone bug, Kuzan's very heavy voice came, with a hint of resistance. Just this time, Kuzan, let's do it. The world doesn't allow people like the Thunder Hunter to exist, he is too big a variable. Hearing Kuzan's words, Sengoku gritted his teeth and said with absolute certainty. I got it. There was silence for a while, and then, Kuzan's voice came, and then the phone worm hung up. Whitebeard, you will probably stop it, but this time, I won't let you succeed. Sengoku's eyes flickered with terrifying light, struggling, panic and other expressions that should not have appeared on Sengoku, and finally, it became extremely firm. Then, he dialed another yellow phone bug on the table. The target of this phone bug is Marine Admiral Kizaru. Kizaru, you led Marine to stop Whitebeard and let Kaido go to 9 Snake Island smoothly. This time, I want the Thunder Hunter to suffer great damage. There was a hint of hoarseness in Sengoku's voice. Hey, Marshal, do you really want to do this? If you're not careful, you'll be attacked. Similarly, after hearing about Sengoku's plan, Kizaru also questioned. Execute. If anything happens, I'll take care of it. The civilian recruitment plan is already being implemented, and a few good people have contacted us. Once something happens, with their participation, it won't be so bad. Sengoku said firmly. Understood. Sengoku is so determined, what else can Kizaru say? He can only agree. Isho, he's a really nice guy. Sengoku glanced over a portrait on his desk and said. And this Sot Delapea, who is also not inferior to Isho. With these people joining Marine, it should be enough to clean up those unruly guys on the sea. Of course, the ultimate goal is you, Thunder Hunter. Sengoku narrowed his eyes and said. He naturally knows the troops sent by the world government, but he has no hope for those people. It's okay to let them bully the new pirates who have just entered the new world, but to deal with such a monster as the Thunder Hunter, it depends on their marine. Chapter 430 Writing Wheel I Missin. If Shajirching knew about Sengoku's plan, he would probably be scared to move the Summer Chamber of Commerce to Whitebeard immediately. Because, if it really comes true as Sengoku says, he's absolutely dead. Isho, Sot Delapea made up, these two people really don't know much now, and they don't think how good they are. But Shajirching knew the horror of these two people. If you want to ask why, because these two have a very famous name after 3 years. Marine Admiral Fujitora Isho, Marine Admiral Ryokugu Sot Delapea. Sengoku let these two come with any Marine Admiral, he'd be dead. In this world, no one can escape from these three admiral-level people. Whitebeard, Roger, not even the rocks. No one can match the strength of the three admirals. It's a pity that Shazherqing doesn't know this, so this will also bring him a huge crisis. According to the statistics of later generations, this crisis has crippled the flourishing Summer Chamber of Commerce to the point where it can barely survive. If it hadn't been for Golden Lion Shiki, Whitebeard and others to lend a helping hand one after another, the legendary Summer Chamber of Commerce might have vanished like this. Of course, these are all for later, let's not mention it for now. Now, on Mock Town. Evolving to the eternal kaleidoscope, the writing wheel is still short of eyes. What do you mean? Shazherqing sat on the roof of the Chamber of Commerce, and murmured very suspiciously. This message just popped up from the system. Perhaps hearing Shazherqing's question, the system's voice rang out, saying, "Host, if you want to evolve into an eternal kaleidoscope, you need to find another pair of kaleidoscopes that are related to you, and integrate them thoroughly." Quote, "If you can't find a new kaleidoscope and fuse into an eternal kaleidoscope, your body will be slowly eroded by the kaleidoscope until you die." Hearing the system's words, Shazherqing was immediately stunned, and quickly asked, "I have used my pupil power to solve the negative effects caused by the excessive use of the kaleidoscope." PNGT. Listening to the meaning of the system, if he does not merge into an eternal kaleidoscope, he will end up as Uchiha Itachi. Can't conceive a child, do you really think it's because you didn't work hard enough? The truth is that your body has been eroded by shackles. Do you think pupil power can eliminate the negative effects? Just like the same disease, can you expect to use the same medicine all the time to relieve the pain? The system's remarks were like a blow to the head, like a basin of cold water, which made him feel cold from head to toe. That means, I have to solve this matter quickly. Shazherqing asked what the system said. The system replied, "Yes. Otherwise, your lifespan will be doubled. It may only be a second or two at the beginning, but the more you go, the bigger it becomes." Shazherqing asked, "Then how can I get a pair of kaleidoscope writing wheel eyes that are related to me?" The system replied, "Go to another world, transplant a pair of writing wheel eyes, and re-evolve." Naruto World. After listening to the system's answer, Shazherqing asked without hesitation. "There is only a world with Sharingan." Chapter 431-4 Emperor's Kaido, approaching. The system replied aloud, "Yes, you will go to that world. But you must also remember that sending you to that world will consume all my strength and fall into a deep sleep. After that, you need to rely on your own strength and going alone. I don't know when to wake up, but probably after you start kaleidoscope writing, I will wake up at a certain time." Hearing the system's words, Shazherqing felt even colder. What does it mean to be without a letter? To be honest, he was a little flustered. This system is a bit too unreliable. Send him to Naruto World, and he will fall asleep directly, and he will not know when he will wake up. Although he thinks the system is very tricky, but there is no way, he has to rely on the system to become more powerful. He converted the 5,280 evolution points he had accumulated over the past 20 days into force points and added them to the force value. Host, Shazherqing. Writing wheel eye status, kaleidoscope 39,570 50 thousandths. Pupil power, 91 100ths max. Strength, 563. Skills, Chidori series, Thunderbolt series ninjutsu, new ninjutsu lightning armor, flying thunder sword. Illusion series, 3 body art, shadow clone art, 3 color hockey, marine rokushiki. Swordsmanship, Yidao Lulibo, profound truth destroy, Kanri. Ocean, here I come. Shazherqing jumped into the ocean again to get acquainted with his greatly increased strength. Boom. A huge thunder light shone through the entire Mock Town, but the people of Mock Town have long since noticed it. They will only feel more at ease when they see this scene. Because this means that Shazherqing's strength has grown again. Only when Shazherqing's strength increased rapidly, would he make such a move. As expected of Mr. Shajirching, it's really reassuring that his strength has grown so fast. Mocktown said so loudly, all the direction they looked at Shajirching was worship. And just when they were so emotional, the headquarters of the Summer Chamber of Commerce suddenly heard a sudden alarm. Enemy attack. A sharp scream resounded throughout the entire Mocktown. Suddenly, all the people who were still busy with their own affairs gathered towards the square in the headquarters. What happened? Where did the alert come from? Anna asked with a serious look on her face. From 9 Snakes. The person who raised the alarm quickly replied. Anna's expression changed, and she immediately ordered, "No, hurry up and send someone to support. Enel, Pazalu, you two will go first, and the rest will follow me to support." Yes. Enel and Pazalu did not refuse, and immediately went to support. Who would the enemy be? Anna has a very ominous premonition. There are very few people who dare to offend their Summer Chamber of Commerce in the entire sea. But the people who can offend their Summer Chamber of Commerce are all big names. Such as the 4 emperors, such as Marine. These are very terrifying, and there are existences that can seriously damage their strength. Hopefully not what I thought it would be. As Anna deployed, she began to wait for specific news. Only by knowing who the enemy is, can he make the most correct decision. Anna-sama, the enemy is confirmed. It is the 4 Emperor Kaido. This is the last thing Anna wants to hear. Chapter 432 Never Compromise. Hearing this news, Anna almost fainted. The 4 Emperors Kaido came in person. What kind of concept is this? This is not the same as the enemies they have encountered before. Maybe only Golden Lion can compare with it. But in the absence of Shajirching, how can they deal with a strongman like Kaido? Rao is Anna, who has seen strong winds and waves, and has no idea at this moment. The enemy is so strong that she has no desire to resist at all. If the person who comes is 3 disasters, she can still deal with it, but Kaido is beyond his scope. Shajirching, come out soon, I don't know what to do in this situation. Anna looked at the sea of clouds in the clouds, her face full of prayer. Fortunately, just like hearing Anna's prayer, the next moment, a figure swooped out from the sea of clouds. It is Shajirching. He was surrounded by terrifying thunder and lightning, and his clothes were dried in an instant. She looked at everyone including Anna and ordered, Anna, Nicole, Robin, you two stay at the headquarters. The rest, follow me to deal with Kaido. It's time to come, so, for the sake of the Summer Chamber of Commerce, we have to get rid of them. Yes. The crowd responded immediately, no one showed fear or timidity on their faces. During the period when Shajirching became stronger, these people were not idle either. The training is almost a life and death battle with each other, and the improvement of strength is called a fast. It's not the same as when you fought against Doflamingo. Now, it's time to test their training results. Anna, I'm going. Shajirching waved to Anna and said, and then, like a heavy weight, he fell away, splashing the sea of clouds with the boss's water. When Shajirching and the others deployed, the sea area near 9 Snake Island was already under complete martial law. The atmosphere is quite heavy, and even makes people a little desperate. Because the enemy is Kaido. This time, it is really a disaster. But why? I am full of the desire to fight. The fear and other emotions I imagined did not appear at all. Enel looked at the 5 approaching ships with awe-inspiring desire to fight. What a tingling lineup. Looking at the arrogant giant on the ship, Pizarro's face was full of solemn expressions. That proud giant is the 4 Emperors Kaido. And behind them, the female warriors of 9 Snakes Island led by Hancock also looked at Kaido, who was approaching very fast. This windless belt, which has been ravaged by terrifying sea kings all the year round, is extremely calm at this moment, just like fearing the majesty of Kaido, dare not make trouble. Finally, Kaido and the others stopped at the port of 9 Snake Island, but 1 kilometer away, which is extremely close to 9 Snake Island. At that moment, the heavy oppression from Kaido made the faces of many female warriors on Nine Snake Island change instantly. They only felt that there was a prehistoric giant beast standing in front of them, and the ferocious breath made them almost suffocate. Hand over Caesar Current, please don't mistake yourself. Kaido gate of opening went straight to the mountain and said the purpose of his and others coming. What if I say no? Enel's mouth had an evil smile, and his body exuded a terrifying thunderbolt. Chapter 433 Desperate Gap. Then you're really playing with fire, Enel. Hearing Enel's words, Kaido's eyes darkened instantly. He looked at Enel and said with murderous intent, you don't think that with the strength of your summer chamber of commerce, you want to compete with us? The strength of labor and capital is not comparable to that of a poor, hairless old cat like Golden Lion. That said, that's really a hockey. Even Golden Lion is not in his eyes. Then I really want to learn from it. Enel finished speaking, he turned into a lightning bolt and rushed towards Kaido. 100 million volts Thunder Dragon. When he reached Kaido, Enel beat the thunder drums on both shoulders at the same time, and then released a roaring bucket-thick Thunder Dragon. Kaido, taste my power. Enel shouted with a grim face. What about the four emperors? In his eyes, they are not invincible. This Thunder Dragon shone on the sea in all directions, with a terrifying aura, and even from the air, there were billowing waves in the sea, and even Kaido's ship had the sound of cracks. It's the flame disaster next to Kaido, and his eyes can't help but be a little shocked. Enel's blow was a bit more powerful than he expected. Merely Thunder Dragon, dare to make trouble. However, in the face of this Thunder Dragon, Kaido actually swung his mace in his hand, and the mad hockey breath burst out, hitting the Thunder Dragon's head heavily. Bang! As if the Thunder Dragon was hit hard, it turned into a thunderous light and dissipated, and the entire sky seemed to be swept away by this stick, which was extremely amazing. Enel couldn't help but be shocked. He didn't expect that his triumphant blow would be so fragile. You kid, go back to me. After breaking the Thunder Dragon, the big stick in Kaido's hand sped out, smashing the air, and a wave of power visible to the naked eye enveloped Enel at a superhuman speed. Hi! Enel instantly felt a strong sense of crisis coming, and before he had time to think, he turned and retreated. Boom! Enel blasted a 100-meter crater, and countless cracks spread, shaking the entire Nine Snake Island. And countless rubble exploded and fell, causing Hancock and others to evade quickly. Although I don't know where you got the courage to challenge our captain, I'm sorry, you may end here. Just when Enel just appeared from the elementalization, behind him, such a voice suddenly came. What? Enel was taken aback by this sound. PFF'd. Before he could react, a wave of blood suddenly burst out from behind him, and Enel fell directly into the ocean. Looking at the person who just attacked Enel, it is suddenly the fire disaster of the three disasters. Not good. This sudden change made Pazuzu scream badly. When he was about to go to the rescue, he saw Kaido turned into a dragon, and opened his mouth to Nine Snake Island and condensed a radiance. A manic energy group. Dragon breath. Kaido drank violently, and a devastating light cannon roared, leaving Pazuzu with a sense of fear that made his soul cool, and he couldn't move at all. If you don't face a powerhouse of this level, you will never know how strong that kind of fear is. Could it be that I, Pazuzu, are going to die here? Pazuzu thought so desperately in his heart. Chapter 434 Shoot Down Kaido, Terror Power. One Blade Stream Lebo. Just when he was thinking like this, such a voice suddenly came from the sky, followed by a flash-like sword wave, hitting the light cannon. Boom! The huge noise produced by the collision between the two shook the sea once again, and even raised a violent wave in the calm sea. In the end, the sword wave and the light cannon cancelled each other out, turning into a gust of wind and blowing out. And in front of Pazuzu, Hancock and others, there is also a man floating in the air on the moon step. It was none other than Ching. Yo Kaido, it's not good to bully my minions. Shajirching looked at Kaido, who turned into a dragon, and said with a provocative face. And on the sea, there was another Shajirching, who rescued Enel, who fell into the water. Hunter of Thunder, hand over Caesar Kurum. Seeing that the main lord finally appeared, Kaido's eyes suddenly became sharp. I refuse. Hand over Caesar Current, impossible. In the world of pirates, isn't it all about robbing? Shajirching asked herself that she was not a good person. What is in his hands, there is no reason to return it. Thunder Hunter, I advise you not to mistake yourself. Listening to Shajirching's refusal, Kaido's voice suddenly became extremely cold, and his breath suddenly became violent. It even affected the sky, causing the clouds in the sky to retreat. Prove it with your strength. Kaido. Shajirching is such an issue, his eyes are turning, and Susanoo appears. Boom. The sea was directly sunk by this powerful breath, and a gust of wind roared out, blowing the masts of Kaido's ships open, and there were large swaths of minions, screaming and being blown away. As you wish, Thunder Hunter, you will regret it. Kaido is not easy to provoke, he twisted his body and rushed over. Dragon Breath. When he opened his mouth, a terrifying hot light bombarded. But this kind of attack was completely ignored by Shajirching. With a slash with his sword, it was torn apart. Moreover, this sword still has enough strength to smash on Kaido's body. Akina eightfold increase. The moment it landed on Kaido, the strongest boost came out, and the terrifying power directly made Kaido cry out in pain, and blood burst out from his body. Everyone clearly heard the sound of bone cracking. Thorn. Kaido suddenly cracked, as if some invisible hand was at work. And a ship within this range was split in half without any resistance, rolling in the turbulent waves. Kaido, get out of here. Shajirching shouted. Kaido's huge body was shot down and smashed into the sea. Bang! As if the sea surface exploded directly, a wave of more than 50 meters was splashed, and it patted the ship where the flames were, so that he had to take action to split the wave. Even on the Nine-Snake Island not far away, quite a few girl warriors groaned directly, and blood flowed from the corners of their mouths. The ground beneath their feet was also shaking, and at the same time as howling, it also cracked. The sound of this explosion is too strong, and it can hurt people even in the air. Master Kaido. Kaido's subordinates couldn't help crying out in shock. They didn't expect that Shajirching would be so strong that even Kaido was injured. Chapter 435 The Confrontation Between the Overlords. This guy's strength has grown so fast. Jack, who had been defeated twice by Shajirching, looked at Shajirching, who was like a god at the moment, and his eyes were also extremely shocked. However, this is not enough to defeat Kaido-sama. Yanzanjin glanced at the sky, and then at Kaido, who fell into the ocean and dyed the sea red, and a light flashed in his eyes. Thunder. In this vast air, a dull voice suddenly sounded. The next moment, the sky suddenly lit up, and a devastating thunderbolt, aimed at Shajirching, came down. Lightning and lightning, what can I do? Shajirching raised the shield in his left hand and blocked it. Boom. The sea beneath Susanoo's feet exploded again, setting off a huge wave. Jack and Jin once again took action to split the huge wave to ensure that they and others would not be submerged in. Shajirching really underestimated the power of this thunder and lightning, and couldn't help but speak out with some difficulty. This thunderbolt is indeed quite strong, making him feel a little unstoppable. It is much more condensed than Enel's thunderbolt attack. Thundering gossip. But just when Shajirching resisted the thunder and lightning, before he could breathe a sigh of relief, another thunder and lightning fell in the sky, and it hit Kaido's mace, which had returned to human form. The profound truth of kendo extermination. In the face of this blow, Luffy's ultimate move is second in fourth gear. How dare Shajirching underestimate it? It is also the strongest blow, and it is increased by 8 times. Ohm. The moment the two touched each other, the surrounding scenery changed, completely lost its color, and the sky was split open. The billowing waves swept across the four directions, with a domineering aura, collided and overwhelmed everything. Boom! The sea moved madly, and there were countless waves raging, with the sound of wind and thunder, roaring out. It's even completely indistinguishable, it's too strong. Is this the strength of the Thunder Hunter? No wonder you have the confidence to challenge Kaido-sama. Master Kaido, you must defeat him. Kaido's subordinates looked at the apocalyptic scene of this scene, laying eggs with their mouths open, and said in shock in their hearts. Is this the strength of the four emperors? Just like the Golden Lion, once you start, it is a scene of doomsday. Is this the performance of the power to destroy the world? It's overwhelmingly powerful. It's no wonder that he has been the emperor of the New World for so long, and he is still standing. No one can challenge it successfully. Hancock, Enel, and Zoro, who came with Shajir-Ching's support, looked at the amazing phenomenon caused by the confrontation between the two, and said this in their hearts. Boom! The two shook off their opponents, and then, at an even more terrifying speed, they bumped into each other again. Bang! 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 The two started a terrifying fighting technique duel. Simple tricks, but possessed unimaginable terrifying and destructive power. They made Jin and the others above the sea retreat again and again, for fear that if they got a little closer, the boat would crash and everyone would die. Little devil, don't think you can beat me, that's impossible. During the battle, Kaido roared like this, the sound was shocking. Then try it out. Shajir-Ching shouted, his eyes moved, and Conqueror Haki burst out. This sea doesn't need so many overlords. Facing the Conqueror attack from Shajir-Ching, Kaido also released the Conqueror and ran away. Ohm! The air was buzzing non-stop, and the sea was swayed. There was no way to stop it, and it turned into waves and roared everywhere. Chapter 436 Lose Both. At this moment, the quartet is silent. There was a large group of people on both sides, their eyes went blank, and they fainted on the ground. This conqueror is too domineering, not for ordinary pirates. Only the strength of over 100 million can barely stay awake. Golden binding. Shajir-Ching's left eye turned again, and under the effect of Achi's augmentation, the illusion came out. Sure enough, Kaido was hit directly, and immediately lost his mobility with a groan. The profound truth of Kendo Kanri. How could Shajir-Ching let go of such a good opportunity, and immediately stabbed Kaido's heart with a sword wrapped in awe-inspiring sword intent? Don't think that this trick can do anything to me. But just when this blow was about to stab Kaido, he actually reacted and slammed it out. Boom! The sea was rolling with waves, but Kaido's expression suddenly changed. He coughed up blood with his mouth open, and then, bang, flew upside down like a missile. Thunderbolt, Chidori's sharp spear. This kind of good is almost not chasing, it is really stupid. A thunder gun with a screeching sound shot through the air, and without giving Kaido a chance to react, it pierced his chest, and the lightning of 300 million volts completely enveloped him. Ah! Suddenly, Kaido's screams were heard around the entire sea. He was pushed by the thunder gun and wiped all the way from the sea, and he couldn't stop at all. It's actually let Kaido-sama fall into the disadvantage. This guy is too scary. Are we going to lose today? Is this his true strength? Looking at Kaido, who was knocked out again, his subordinates were a little less calm. What are you thinking, Kaido-sama? How could you possibly lose to that guy? At this time, Jack's roar suddenly came from the ears of everyone. Master Kaido is invincible. Jack looked at Kaido, who was knocked out, but his eyes were full of confidence. Thunder. Maybe just like confirming Jack's words, Kaido's voice came from a distance. Then, a red thunderbolt smashed down towards Shajir-Ching's Susanoo, with the momentum of billions of miles. Before reaching the sea had already sunk down, letting Enel, the Guro no Mi, the Rumble Fruit abilities all felt a deep shock. But Thunderbolt, what can I do? In the face of the falling red thunderbolt, Shajir-Ching roared again and fought away again. Boom! But when Shazherching just blocked this thunder and lightning, another thunder and lightning came down. What? This time, even Sha Muyang couldn't help being taken aback, and he stabbed the confrontation with a sword. But, boom! Another thunder and lightning, smashed down. Shazherching's mouth was almost full of fragrance, and he couldn't dodge at all, and was directly penetrated by lightning. Shazherching only felt that this was thunder and lightning, and it was clearly skinning. He felt that there was a constant terrifying force pulling on his Susanoo, and he wanted to peel off Susanoo directly like this. Moreover, this thunder and lightning also directly invaded Susanoo's body. This power is too huge, making Shazherching feel like he is about to be torn apart. This unexpected change made Hancock and the others, who had not yet come and cheered, immediately stunned. Chapter 437 I'm not afraid at all. We're going to. Jack issued an attack order to his subordinates. Yes. Naturally, there are people who can't wait for a long time, and they respond excitedly. Let me go. This thunder and lightning is violent, but don't forget, Sha Muyang himself uses thunder and lightning, and a terrifying thunder and lightning burst out from him, and the thunder and lightning that came down from Kaido are dissipated. Ha! Ho! Ha! Although the thunder and lightning were dispelled, Shazherching was also severely damaged and consumed too much. And Kaido in the distance, rushed over again. Dragon Breath. Just as Shazherching will not miss any opportunity to hit Kaido, Kaido will not miss any opportunity to hit Shazherching. Through the battle just now, Kaido understood that Shazherching did have the same strength as him. But this drives him even more crazy. He personally dispatched, if Shazherching could not achieve his wish and let Shazherching repel it, wouldn't it be too embarrassing? Break me. Facing the incoming light cannon, Shazherching slashed out with a sword, shattered it, and then stabbed Kaido with a sword. Bang! It was another heavy blow, and both of them were knocked back out. Look at the status of the two. Not much better. Kaido, blood is flowing, and VV's chest collapses, making his breathing a little short. And Shazherching exudes a scorched smell, blood flows from his eyes, and his breathing is equally fast. Kaido, accept your fate, the two of us are only 1/2 to 5, you can't beat me, and I can't beat you. Shazherching looked at Kaido and grinned. HMPH, kid, you're delusional. Do you think anyone can stop Jin? When Kaido heard this, he snorted and shouted. Why not, you take me, Enel, for someone. Kaido finished speaking, Enel started to speak, his face full of war. Humph, then you also have to ask Jack if he agrees, do you want to fight against Jack just because of the rabble of them? Kaido's eyes swept over Pazalu, Huyuina and others, and said contemptuously. Why can't you, are you a concubine just to watch a play? At this time, Hancock's voice came again, proud and cold. Pirate Queen. I don't know why, but Kaido has a bit of dread on Hancock. Yes, Shazherching saw a trace of fear in Kaido's eyes. Kaido, it seems that your abacus is not working well. We have a lot of good soldiers here. Your plan to retake Caesar Curran is afraid that it will not be realized. With no worries at the rear, Shazherching will naturally be able to start a full-scale war with Kaido. Asshole. This situation made Kaido cry out in anger. His dignified 4 emperors, when have they been so aggrieved? But at present, it seems that he can only accept this fate. Little devil, don't be too arrogant, but there is still a large group of laborers who have not appeared. Kaido screams. He, sorry, me too. When Shazherching heard the words, she was not afraid at all. Let's just say that he has a combat power of about 1,000 in the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Coupled with Hancock's 9 Snake Island warriors, Tezzolo's strength is not necessarily inferior to Kaido. Oh, forgot to mention, I might ask the Whitebeard pirates for help if I could. Shazherching looked at Kaido, clearly threatening to speak out. Hearing this, Kaido's expression changed immediately, and he said, I hope you can be as arrogant as ever, Thunder Hunter. Chapter 438 Kaido Retreat. Let's go. Kaido even gave the order to retreat. This made the fire disaster and Drought Jack can't help but be a little surprised. They were a little confused as to why Kaido gave the order to retreat. Master Kaido, why are you retreating? We clearly have the upper hand. Don't say it's the fire disaster, it's the Drought Jack, and he can't help but ask. This is not just the idea of Jack Drought, in fact, it is the idea of the entire Beast Pirates. Retreat, this is the captain's order. When questioned by Jack, Kaido said in a deep voice that he couldn't get off the stage, and his face was obviously full of anger. Don't retreat, listen to Lord Kaido. The situation that I saw suddenly became delicate, and Yan Zonjin immediately became a peacemaker. Cut, these guys are so cheap. Seeing Yan Legion talking, Jack glanced at Shajirching's subordinates very unhappily, and then evacuated with his subordinates. Oh, victorious. Seeing Kaido and the others evacuated, the people under Shajirching and the female warriors of Nine Snake Island couldn't help but shouted excitedly. That is Kaido, one of the 4 emperors of the New World, a mighty existence, and now he has retreated voluntarily. This is nothing short of a miracle. This was completely unimaginable when they thought about it in the past. Sure enough, only under his leadership can all this become a reality. Everyone couldn't help but look at Shajirching in admiration, their eyes were full of excitement. But Shajirching, the party involved, didn't have the slightest smile on his face. He looked at the departing Kaido army, and the dignified color in his eyes became stronger and stronger. He never felt that Kaido couldn't beat him. Even if he retreats temporarily due to insufficient troops, it is conceivable that Kaido, who has lost face and talent, will take revenge on him in the future. Looks like we need to look for support right away. Shajirching thought this way, watching Kaido and others leave the coastline and disappear from his sight, and he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Then, Susanoo was dispersed, and then, a mouthful of blood spurted out. Master President. Husband. Shajirching's sudden change scared everyone. I'm fine, it's just a mouthful of old blood pooling in my chest. It's easier to spit it out. Shajirching waved his hand, indicating that he was fine. Kaido's power is surprisingly terrifying. If it weren't for the increase of Haki, it would really make him a little overwhelmed. Okay, organize the troops and practice patrolling. In the days to come, it may not be easy. Kaido, you won't let it go. Shajirching said to Hancock who came over, Enel said. Makes sense. Enel nodded when he heard the words, agreeing deeply. On the other hand, Kaido is here. PFF'd. Kaido suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood. Master Kaido, are you alright? Drought Jack asked in surprise. It doesn't matter, it's just bruising. However, this Thunder Hunter is really strong and terrifying. Except for Whitebeard, no one has been able to hurt me for a long time. Kaido stroked the depression in his chest, and there was a ferocious light in his eyes. But this matter will not end like this. The labor and management are the 4 emperors. Kaido, he can't afford to lose this man, he wants to find his way back. Chapter 439 Strategize. Have you heard? Thunder Hunter and Kaido fought a battle with the weight, and finally, they retreated. Of course I know, I heard that the 2 of them fought in the dark, the ocean rolled over, and the end was amazing, and they fought to a win-win outcome. It's really terrifying. The Thunder Hunter has reached such a height, it's really scary. In just one day, the news that Shajirching and Kaido were waiting to fight spread throughout the sea. The people on the sea were completely frightened by Shajirching's record. If he beat Golden Lion, it was only one person after all, maybe it was teamwork. Then, his battle with Kaido is enough to prove that he already has the strength to fight on an equal footing with the 4 emperors. He's only 15 years old, this is too scary. When everyone thought that Shajirching was only 15 years old this year, they couldn't calm down even more. Think about yourself 15 years old, and then think about the 15 years old of others, the gap is really as huge as a moat. Shajirching is 15 years old and already has the strength to dominate the sea. And most people are not sensible at the age of 15, they are ignorant. What is the gap? This is it. New world. Cool, no wonder Marine is so excited all of a sudden, so it is. After seeing the news that Shajirching had repelled Kaido, Whitebeard was proud of Isho, and then he looked worried and said, however, Kaido is not a person who will just let it go. Next, there will be severe revenge. Marco on the side heard the words, but did not panic at all, saying, I think his call for help should be coming soon. Blood. No, as soon as Marco finished speaking, a phone bug beside Whitebeard rang immediately. That was specially used to communicate with Shajirching. Look, here it comes. Upon seeing this, Marco immediately spread his hands, as if he knew Shajirching's habits very well. What's the matter, kid, can't you sit still? Whitebeard connected and laughed. Shajirching on the other end of the phone said, I can't be in a hurry, wait for Kaido to come and ask for help, everything will be over. Cool, I see, how much do you want to ask for help this time? Whitebeard only joked a few words, and then returned to the topic. I need the support of a few fleets. If possible, I hope to get Ace to come to support as well. I heard that he has made great progress recently. It would be even better to have a Fishman team as support. Shajirching's request is not too much. After all, the only difference between him and the Kaido pirates is that the high-level combat power is somewhat asymmetrical. That is, the combat power of the three disasters. At present, the only person under him who can symmetrically balance the three disasters is Enel. If Anna wasn't pregnant, she would be able to symmetry fire blast. But now that she is pregnant, Shajirching dare not let her participate in the war. However, with Tezzolo and Ace joining in, the three disasters will barely match. In other respects, the difference is basically not big. Kaido's current subordinates are not as strong as in the original book 2 years later. These people in his summer chamber of commerce are enough to deal with. And with the support of the Whitebeard pirates, it will be even better. Okay, I see, in 2 days, you'll see the fleet you want. Whitebeard agreed without a second thought. Then I won't bother. After that, I hung up the phone. Chapter 440, Sengoku's Murder. This kid has really grown up. Whitebeard felt a little helpless about Shajirching hanging up like this, and then he couldn't help showing pride. His son, Thunder Hunter, no, he should be called Shuitong Shajirching. Now, he is almost on an equal footing with him. This sense of achievement is really comfortable. And elsewhere. Kaido won't just let it go, will he? This is a great opportunity. The 4 emperors, Bigumum, said with gleaming eyes. Mom, prepare for the army, this opportunity is unprecedented. Whether it's successful or not, Kaido is unlikely to settle accounts after the fall. Charlotte Perospero heard the words and said with great agreement. Katakuri, what do you think? Perospero agreed that she made Bigumum happy, but she still didn't forget to ask Katakuri's opinion. His opinion is the most important. I think it works. This time, Katakuri agreed. The sea, it's going to be turbulent again, it's really a headache for the scenery. The redhead looked at the sea with a sad look on his face and couldn't help sighing. The significance of his existence as the 4 emperors is not so much a plunderer as a peacekeeper. Yes, the 4 emperors' red hair has always played the role of a firefighting team. Wherever there is an imbalance in the situation in the sea, he will support whoever, so that the sea will not be turbulent. Dressrosa. Furfur, there is a fierce battle to come. It's about to be staged. In the end, who will be the victor? Doflamingo raised his wine glass and looked at the sea with madness in his eyes. If the world is not in chaos, his business will not develop. Fight, fight, the harder you fight, the better, the more people you die, the more excellent corpses I can get. Kaido, you wait for me, one day, I will come to you for revenge. Shichibukai Gecko Moria was also very excited when she heard the news. Alabasta. 4 Emperors versus New Heroes. It seems, it will be a good battle. Sand Crocodile with a cigar, thought like this. In the rest of the sea, all kinds of people with ghosts and others are watching this upcoming war with anticipation. Let all those who are still out trade come back. Call the elite warriors of all branches and come together. The next battle is related to our life and death. We can only win, not lose, understand? Mock Town Conference Room. Shajirching communicated with the heads of the various branches of the sea, and deployed the mission at the same time. Understood. Everyone answered in unison. The enemy is the 4 emperors, no one dares to neglect. Then, Shajirching and these people had a detailed task arrangement discussion. This battle is very important to the significance of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Even if they are tied, it is enough for them to be famous. Just can't lose. If you lose, the Summer Chamber of Commerce will lose a lot. Marine Headquarters. It seems that I still underestimated your threat. You can actually make Kaido retreat on his own initiative. You kid, it has really become a climate. But that's why I want to get rid of you all the more. The peace and stability of the sea, you are the biggest and most uncontrollable threat, and the uncontrollable things must be obliterated. Sengoku felt that Shajirching was terrifying more and more, so the idea of wanting to get rid of Shajirching became stronger.